The whispering streets. The sun dipped low over Accra, bathing the vibrant streets in hues of orange and gold. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air, intertwining with the aromatic scents of jollof rice and fried plantains wafting from nearby stalls. Yet, as the festivities unfolded, an unsettling hush rippled through the crowd, as if a shadow loomed just beyond the light. Nana Ayam walked briskly through the bustling market, her heart heavy with a sense of dread that prickled at her skin. Every December, the streets seemed to teem with excitement. However, the annual celebration was marred by a series of disappearances. This year, the chatter about missing children had escalated, echoing in whispers like a haunting refrain. Adjusting the strap of her bag, she made her way toward her community center, a small building adorned with murals created by local youth, each depicting dreams of a brighter future. It was a sanctuary for children seeking warmth and safety, a world where laughter could drown out the sorrows of the outside. As Nana entered, the familiar rush of hope enveloped her, though a tight knot in her stomach remained. Inside, the room buzzed with life. Children darted between tables, their laughter mingling with the soft strains of music from a radio perched on a corner shelf. Smiling brightly, she was greeted by the sight of 12-year-old Adeola, her most spirited mentee, juggling brightly colored balls with clumsy enthusiasm. "Ms. Nana, watch me." Adeola beamed, her wide eyes sparkling with mischief. "Go on, show me what you've got." Nana encouraged, her voice warm but laced with unease. She had always cherished these moments. Their innocence felt like a fragile shield against the threats lurking beyond the community's borders. As the children cheered for Adeola, Nana felt her gaze drift to the window, its glass streaked with the dust of 1,000 dreams. She could see the street where children played hide and seek, their laughter blending with the rhythm of life outside. But what was meant to be joyous had become tainted. The air carried whispers of a Simpai, the spirit that hunted the wanderers of December, a specter that silenced joy. Her day-to-day work was to create art programs for the children, yet a fantasy of hope was marred by reality. As she gathered the children for their afternoon art session, she couldn't shake the sense that time was running out. She had to uncover what lay beneath the surface, the hidden fears that haunted her neighborhood. When the session concluded, the euphoria gradually faded. The children departed, leaving behind splattered canvases and traces of laughter. Alone now, Nana retreated to her desk, her thoughts swirling like the dark clouds ominously gathering outside. She pulled out an old family photo, her younger brother Kwame, grinning proudly beside her in front of their home. He had disappeared during the very month they now celebrated, leaving her with an aching void that never truly healed. The door swung open, and Kofi Mensah strode in, a whirlwind of energy wrapped in shades of paint. His presence filled the room with vibrant chaos, and he nodded appreciatively at the children's masterpieces sprawled on the tables. "Nana, these pieces are incredible. You're raising a whole new generation of artists," Kofi exclaimed, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. "Kofi," she replied softly, her smile fading as the weight of reality pressed on her chest. "Have you heard what's happening? The disappearances." Kofi's expression shifted from excitement to concern. "I've heard rumors. Everyone is scared, but it's December. It's supposed to be a time of celebration." "It was, until now." Nana traced her fingers along the photograph, her heart aching. "I can't shake the feeling that time is running out. I need to figure out what's happening before it catches up with me, with us." The flickering fluorescent light cast harsh shadows across Kofi's face, revealing the furrow in his brow. He leaned against the desk, tilting his head. "They say old tales resurface during this time, don't they? Perhaps we need to unearth some of those stories, find the truth behind them." "A Simpai is more than just a story, Kofi," Nana urged, her voice trembling. "It's a fear that's taken root. People are disappearing, and we can't ignore it." He nodded, an intensity igniting in his gaze. "Then we'll find help. We'll figure it out together." They locked eyes, an unspoken understanding passing between them, and for a flicker of hope, Nana dared to believe that perhaps they could unravel the threads of dread darkening the holiday spirit. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the streets outside transformed into a labyrinth of shadows, the laughter fading into whispers. A feeling of inevitable change loomed as Nana resolved to face whatever waited in the depths. But in the distance, a lone figure lingered at the market's edge, eyes hidden beneath the cover of night, observing with an unsettling stillness. the promise of the spirit's return hanging thick in the air. The heart of tradition. The dawn broke over Accra, casting golden light across the market. Bright stalls brimmed with fruits, spices, and handmade crafts, each vendor vying for attention in a delightful chaos of color. Birds chirped, flitting between the rafters as children darted about, their laughter invigorating the air. But amidst the cheer, Nana felt a growing urgency winding in her veins. Dressed in a beaded dress reflecting elements of her heritage, she made her way to the market, determined to seek the wisdom of Oma Esi, the vibrant matriarch known for her deep connection to Accra's cultural roots. Oma was a well of knowledge, often sharing tales steeped in tradition that linked the community with its ancestors. If any woman could offer insight into a Sim-Pai, it was her. Nana, the vendors greeted her, their smiles genuine despite the undercurrents of concern that cloaked the market. She returned their affections, her resolve only strengthening as she approached Oma's stall. Oma's stall was an explosion of color. A patchwork of Kent cloth woven into intricate patterns, all draped alongside handmade ornaments displaying symbols of protection and blessings. Cocooned within all this beauty, Oma herself radiated warmth. Her laughing eyes, like sparkling gems, met Nana's as she shuffled toward her. "Ah, my dear, you bring joy with your presence," Oma exclaimed, her hands filled with small bags of spices. "What drags you away from your children today? I hope it's not the troubles I've been hearing." Nana hesitated, her heart racing. "Oma, I need your wisdom. The stories resurfacing about a Sim-Pai. They're becoming too real. Children are disappearing, and I fear it could happen again." As a shadow flickered across Oma's features, the older woman gestured for Nana to sit on a nearby crate. This season encourages reflection. Many are drawn to the traditions of our ancestors, but they sometimes attract shadows. "Tell me, what do you know of a Sim-Pai?" Nana recited the tales that had been passed down, stories of a spirit that roamed the earth, looking for those who strayed too far from their roots. Victims often vanished in the night, lost to the whispers of the winds. Each December, a sacrifice was said to appease the restless spirit, a fact that sent shivers through her spine every time she spoke it. "What you describe is not merely folklore, my child. It is the heart of our culture, a bridge between the seen and the unseen," Oma said solemnly. "Once, our people understood the balance. When the spirit called, we learned to listen. But many have forgotten, and fear reigns." Nana felt anxiety bubbling within her. "But that doesn't solve our problem. How do we confront it? How do we ensure it doesn't take anyone else?" Oma considered her for a moment, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. "You must gather the community. You cannot fight alone. Thanksgiving is coming, a time for unity. If we hold a gathering, we can reclaim the festivities' original spirit. Let the people understand that together, we wield the strength of our ancestors." Nana's heart raced. This was a chance to raise awareness and instill hope, but deep down, dread coiled itself around her thoughts. Would people be receptive, or would they succumb to fear? "And what if the spirit doesn't want to be appeased?" she whispered, almost afraid of the answer. Oma leaned closer, her breath sharing the weight of generational wisdom. "There lies the challenge. You will find your courage. Gather them with love, with stories, and they will follow." Armed with Oma's insight, Nana stood up, enveloped in a newfound determination. "Thank you, Oma. I will talk to the others. We will do this." As she left the stall, she noticed the atmosphere thickening with anticipation, like the stillness before a storm. The vendors around her exchanged worried glances and hushed tones about the missing children. The vibrant colors around her suddenly felt muted against the impending sense of dread. Later that evening, back at the community center, Kofi was already preparing some canvases for the children's upcoming exhibition, an event he had dreamt about. As Nana entered, she recounted her conversation with Oma, the urgency coloring her words. "We have to rally the community for a traditional gathering," she urged as Kofi paused, captivated. "We can use art to engage them, to weave the stories of our past into a celebration." Kofi's brows furrowed, excitement flickering in his eyes. "Incorporating stories in art? That's brilliant. We can make it interactive. Get everyone involved." "Exactly," Nana affirmed. "But we must act fast. December is only a week away. We need to ensure the gathering is impactful. We can't let fear dictate our holiday. As they plotted and planned, the weight of their task grounded them. Two individuals willing to stand against an unseen enemy, ready to place their lives on the line for their community. The evening deepened, and shadows flitted outside the windows. In the dim light, Kofi sensed something. He turned, catching a fleeting glimpse of a figure lingering near the market again, swirling with an unsettling unease. As the figure melted into the darkness, Kofi's heart raced, an omen drifting through the air. "Is something wrong?" Nana asked, her voice pulling him back to the moment. "No, it's nothing." He shook his head, though uncertainty clung to him. Together they turned back to their plans, but the atmosphere outside thickened with the promise of something untamed. As they prepared for the gathering, reality loomed. Their resolve would soon be tested, and the celebration on the horizon held more than just festivity. It carried the weight of destiny itself. The gathering storm. The air weighed heavy with anticipation as across streets transformed under the glow of festive lights. Colorful decorations adorned homes and shops alike, creating an intoxicating blend of cheer and dread. The December festival approached, but so did the specter of a Sim-Pai, lingering beneath the surface like a vengeful secret. Nana and Kofi had spent days planning the community gathering with Oma's wisdom guiding them. They invited parents, children, and even elders, hoping to reignite the sparks of unity that had dimmed in fear. Posters, adorned with bright colors and the calligraphic invitation of "Return to the Roots," were plastered around the market, drawing curious glances and nervous murmurs. As Nana stepped out onto the bustling streets, the sight was both heartening and disheartening. Kids played joyfully, their laughter a stark contrast to the whispering rumors swirling in the air. Yet, with every childish giggle, a part of her felt sadness for those who were missing. Would they be there to join in the celebrations? Kofi stood beside her, a paint-streaked shirt clinging to his lanky frame. He always carried an air of vibrancy, but today his eyes held a flicker of trepidation. "Tonight is about honoring our past, right?" he asked, a hint of uncertainty creeping into his voice. "What if fear still holds them?" "We're stronger together," she reassured him. "Stories connect us. If we provide a safe space for them to share, they'll find their voice again." She clasped his shoulder, grounding him. "You'll see." As twilight descended, the community center buzzed with activity. The scent of sizzling kelaweel and grilled plantains wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of vibrant paints being splashed across canvases by eager hands. Children gathered in clusters, preparing for the interactive storytelling session that was to follow. Oma arrived, dressed in a flowing bubu shimmering in shades of gold and green, her presence commanding yet comforting. "Nana, Kofi, what a beautiful gathering this will be," she exclaimed, surveying the center. Nana felt her heartbeat quicken as they gathered everyone together. The chatter diminished, her resolve carrying confidence into the air. With Oma at her side, she stepped forward. "Welcome, everyone. As we celebrate this season of unity, we must not forget the stories that shape our lives. Our roots give us strength, and tonight, we reclaim that strength together." The crowd clapped, a wave of applause echoing through the room. The children eagerly waved their colorful paintbrushes, ready to create art reflective of their culture. As the formalities faded, Kofi took a step forward, his artistic spirit igniting. "Let's share our stories, create a mural that captures the essence of who we are. Each of you will paint a piece of what this community means to you," he encouraged, his voice laced with infectious enthusiasm. Under the guidance of Kofi and Nana, the room erupted into creative chaos. Children poured their energy into art, crafting images of their homes, families, and even the stories their elders had told. Each brushstroke seemed to breathe life into the gathering, and the air buzzed with laughter and chatters, a sweet melody resonating with hope. But as the night continued, dark clouds began to gather outside, obscuring the moon. Out of the corner of her eye, Nana glimpsed fleeting shadows darting between the stalls outside. Her heart raced, and she turned to Oma, who had lowered her gaze, eyes narrowed in deep thought. "It feels as if the spirit is watching us," Nana said quietly, concern etched across her features. Oma nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "Remember, show your strength. Do not let fear consume you. It only thrives in shadows." Just then, an elder stepped forward, his eyes reflecting years of wisdom mixed with heaviness. We have forgotten how to honor the past, how to welcome our ancestors. There lies a power within these stories. We must remember who we are. A collective hush fell over the room as the elder shared a tale, a story of the people who fought against shadows long ago, a fight that echoed through generations. The flickering lights cast enchanting shadows on the walls as children listened, rapt with attention. Fear began to dissolve, only to be replaced by connection and community. But as the gathering reached its peak, an unanticipated tremor shuddered through the room, as if the very ground beneath them had stirred. The lights flickered and dimmed, an eerie silence replaced the joyous laughter. Nana steadied herself, heart pounding. "Stay together," she shouted into the gathering as a wave of panic began to rise, shadows creeping into the light. Suddenly, the door burst open, and a young boy dashed inside, his expression frantic. "They took her. They took Adeola," he cried, breathless and wide-eyed. A sharp gasp rippled through the crowd, and Nana felt her heart plummet. "What do you mean?" she whispered, fear tightening its grip around her. "A dark figure, a woman. They just took her." She was playing outside. His voice trailed off, swallowed by the unease of the room. Panic ignited, fear seeping back in as whispers traveled through the gathering. Nana felt the weight of despair, the darkness clawing back with a vengeance. Just when they thought they had begun to reclaim their spirit, it felt like the shadows swallowed them whole once more. Kofi clenched his fists, eyes darkening with determination. "We must find her. We cannot let fear dictate this night." Nana nodded, resolute. "No." She turned to the community, her voice steady. "We'll go together. We'll face this together." As the community began to gather their strength, preparing to search for Adeola, outside, the storm that had gathered intensified, thunder rumbling ominously in the distance. Tension crackled in the air, a reminder that danger still loomed, a gathering storm that would test their resolve as never before. Into the shadows. The atmosphere grew heavy with uncertainty as Nana stood at the forefront of the gathering, the urgency palpable among them. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows across the walls, mirroring the growing fear in her chest. Kofi moved to her side, his determination shining through the worry etched on his face. "Stay close," he urged. "We'll split into groups. It'll be safer that way." Nana nodded, her mind racing. "We'll need a plan. Kofi, can you organize the older kids to help search the alleys nearby? They know these streets like the back of their hands." Kofi wasted no time rallying the children, his energy contagious. "Listen up. We'll fan out. Check everywhere, the market, the roads and the alleyways. We'll find Adeola." The eagerness morphed into uncertainty as the kids exchanged worried glances, but Kofi raised his voice again. "She's counting on us." Nana caught the eyes of several parents, their faces taut with fear. "If anyone knows of a safe area to search, grab a friend. We will meet back here in 15 minutes, she encouraged, her voice unwavering despite the tension curling in her belly. An elder approached her, frail yet fierce. "We must remember the stories of protection passed down to us," he said, his voice gravelly, resonating with the strength of generations. "Gather the community around. Invoke our ancestors." "Thank you," Nana replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Everyone, please come here." Her voice echoed as she gathered people into a circle, forming a human tapestry of hope. Once encircled, they reached for one another's hands, grounding each other in the uncertain night. Nana closed her eyes, drawing from the energy flowing between them. "In our unity lies our power." As she recited the ancient invocation her grandmother used to whisper, a sense of calm washed over her. As she called forth protecting spirits, Kofi moved closer, feeling the charged air around them. "Let's rely on our roots, on each other." The flickering lights swayed, capturing the tension in the room, as the gathered community turned their focus inward. Stories from elders flowed like streams of wisdom, winding tales of protection, hope, and togetherness while shadows danced just beyond the ring of the light. Then came the unmistakable sound of thunder rumbling in the distance, a deep growl of ominous presence as a chill slithered through the air. Kofi opened his eyes and turned to Nana, determination glistening in them. "It's time," he said, affirming their resolve. "Let's go find Adeola." With reluctance, they released each other's hands and broke the circle, a palpable energy still humming in the air. Nana rallied a group of older children and the brave adults who would accompany them. Kofi gathered the younger kids, trying to restore confidence in their hearts as they ventured outside. The streets glistened under a sudden downpour, rain cascading and drumming against the earth, blending with the palpable heartbeat of apprehension. "Stay close. Watch the shadows," Kofi shouted, leading the charge down the market aisle where Adeola had last been seen. Women pressed their palms against their doors, eyes wide in worry, as the group rushed past them. The vibrant market they had enjoyed just hours ago felt foreign now. Nudging into the darker corners illuminated only by streaks of lightning, the fear coiling tighter around Nana's heart. "Should we split up?" one adult suggested, hesitating at the crossing paths of the market. "No," Kofi insisted. "Strength lies in numbers. Let's check the alleys together first. I have a bad feeling about this." They traced familiar routes, each step echoed louder than the last, shadows stretching and flickering beneath the rain-soaked lights. Nana's breath quickened, frustration mixed with determination. "Adeola," she called out into the darkness, her voice trembling as it mingled with the rain. She scanned the shadows, searching for any hint of the child. An elder who had joined them spoke softly. "Do not let fear guide your heart. In each shadow, there's a chance for light." His calming words anchored Nana momentarily, reminding her of the community they had rallied, the stories of resilience swirling around like a protective embrace. They turned a corner into a narrow alley, and without warning, the mood shifted. The air grew stale, and a cold gust of wind swept through, sending shivers down Nana's spine. Lightning flashed again, illuminating the dark figure of a woman standing at the far end of the passage. The red glow of her dress contrasted sharply against the dark, rain-drenched walls, almost vibrant against the murkiness. Just as quickly as it appeared, the figure flickered, disappearing into the shadows that swallowed her whole. Nana felt a pull, an instinctive urging to follow, but Kofi's voice cut through the heavy silence. "Nana, focus. We need to keep searching." But Nana was immobilized, recognizing an ancient story that flooded her mind. "The spirit," she whispered, recalling Oma's warning. "It's a trap. We need to stay together." The others watched, fear mapping their faces. Kofi stepped closer, determination clenching his fist. "We are stronger than shadows. Let's not let it consume us." A sharp clap of thunder interrupted their resolve, as rain cascaded harder, seeking to wash away their bravery. With each pulse of lightning, Nana found herself moving toward where the figure had vanished, her heart beating with the rhythm of uncertainty, but Kofi grabbed her arm, grounding her with fierce assurance. "We'll find Adeola. Together." As they continued their search, a sense of purpose solidified in their hearts. Shadows crept and swelled, intertwining with their fears, but from deep within, there emerged a bright glimmer of hope fueled by unity. They stepped into the unknown, carrying the stories of their culture like a torch to pierce through the darkness encroaching around them. Unraveling Threads. The streets of Accra were unrecognizable in the night, transformed by relentless rain and shadows that seemed to breathe life. Since their encounter with the mysterious figure, tension hung in the damp air like heavy fog, clawing at the corner of Nana's mind. As she forged ahead into the murky darkness, a whisper of dread slithered along her spine. Every heartbeat resonated loudly in her ears. "Keep moving," Kofi urged, glancing at the group tethered tightly behind them. Their faces were pale, eyes glimmering with uncertainty. The little weight of their light reflected a fast diminishing hope. Nana focused on the ground, her thoughts whirling. If she could just gather her strength and clarity, they could push forward. "Stay together, always. If you hear anything, call out," she instructed, trying to keep their spirits buoyed as they traversed deeper into the labyrinth of alleys veiled in darkness. Amidst the chilling howls of the wind, they turned a corner into another narrow passage, which led them to a dilapidated doorway. The door hung ajar, a flickering light emanating from within, a sharp contrast to the foreboding night. "Should we check it?" Kofi whispered, eyebrows knitting together. A small tremor of anxiety tinged his voice, though it also held a resolve that bubbled beneath the surface. Nana hesitated, the hair on the back of her neck prickling unnervingly. "I hear something." The rhythmic beat of muffled voices floated into the air, strange and indistinct, but suddenly familiar to her. It wrapped around her senses, tempting her to step closer, to unlock the hidden door before them. Let's check carefully, she decided, courage igniting in her chest. They'd already committed to this search. They would not retreat now. Kofi drew in a breath and pushed the door ajar with cautious optimism. Inside, they found themselves wrapped in an odd play of shadows. An old room, filled with relics that hinted at history's lost. Discarded treasures, from dusty tapestries that hung from the ceiling to an ornate lamp covered in cobwebs, spoke of forgotten times. In the corner, a low table with flickering candles burned fiercely against the encroaching darkness. As they entered, the voices grew clearer, an unfamiliar language that felt like it belonged to both the past and the present. Nana squinted into the shadows of the room, feeling a nagging impulse to understand it. Kofi stepped forward first, swallowing his uncertainty. "Does anyone know what they're saying?" he asked aloud, uncertainty hanging heavily in the room. One of the adults who had joined them, an older woman with a deep connection to her roots, nodded thoughtfully. "It sounds like old African dialects. We must tread carefully, for it is not uncommon for spirits to dwell in places of history." Nana felt a tremor beneath her feet as the light flickered again. "We need to keep searching for Adeola," she proclaimed, trying to steady their nerves. But before they could explore further, a sudden gust swept through the room, extinguishing the candles in an instant, an impenetrable darkness enveloping them. "Stay close," someone cried, panic seeping through the collective consciousness. The fraying threads of hope began to unravel, each breath heavy with the weight of encroaching shadows. Nana reached out, her hand grasping Kofi's forearm. "Do you feel that? Something is shifting." The voices crescendoed and then faded into an eerie silence. In the stillness, a figure emerged from the shadows near the far wall, the woman they had seen earlier, an ethereal presence framed by a shroud of darkness. Her red dress billowed like smoke, revealing a strikingly beautiful face, marred only by a hint of sadness around her piercing eyes. "Who are you?" Kofi demanded, voice trembling with equal parts awe and fear. The woman regarded them with a somber gaze. "I am one who walks between worlds," she replied, her voice a soft whisper, yet it reverberated like thunder in the folds of their hearts. "You seek a child who has been claimed by shadows. It is not merely Adeola you must rescue, you must confront the darkness that binds us all." Nana felt every word pulse with significance. "What do you mean?" she implored, edging closer despite the overwhelming sensation of dread. "The stories you carry shape your history, they weave through the fabric of who you are. But they have dulled. To find the light, you must reclaim the wisdom of your ancestors and remember the sacrifices made to keep your world whole," the woman said, her voice imbued with urgency. "But how? We don't know what to do," Kofi shouted, desperation leaking through. The woman reached out, her fingers hovering over an old tapestry depicting majestic scenes of cultural triumphs and celebrations. "You must weave the stories back together. Only then can you break the hold of the shadows, reunite with what is lost, and bring forth the strength of your people." Then, as swiftly as she appeared, the figure was gone, leaving only a lingering touch of her presence, a bittersweet sensation that clung to the air. "What just happened?" Nana murmured, shaken. "Was that real?" "I think it was," Kofi responded, or etched across his features. "We need to honor her words. We must bring everyone together. We need to tell our stories, to reclaim the legacy." An unequivocal resolution ignited within Nana. "Yes. If we can gather the community, if we share our histories and memories, we can reforge that connection." But urgency prickled at her awareness. Time was against them. As the group shifted back toward the doorway, a thunderous crash echoed outside, waking the shadows again. But instead of retreating, they pressed on, hands joined tightly and spirits ignited with newfound clarity. "Let's return. It's time to rekindle the flames of our history," Nana stated, poised to take action, reconnecting the scattered threads of their collective past. As they emerged into the dim rain-soaked dawn, they felt the weight of shadows still lurking but were now garbed with purpose. They would not retreat, they would weave their stories to reclaim what was lost. Threads of the past. The streets of Accra felt charged as Nana and the group made their way back to the community center. The rain had subsided into a gentle drizzle, and a muted light began to break through darkened clouds. The night's terror still clung to them, but hope flared like embers in a dying fire. As they reached the center, They could see that the earlier chaos had settled into a heavy silence. The crowd that had once been loud with laughter and excitement lay morose, shadows etched on their faces by worry. Parents whispered among themselves, their expressions brimming with concern as the children huddled together, eyes crimson from tears. Nana stepped forward, her heart racing. "Everyone, we need to talk," she called, raising her hands for their attention. The murmurs subsided, and all eyes turned to her. "What we face tonight is bigger than any one of us," she began, her voice steady, though the emotion flickered within. "Adeola is missing, and fear creeps into every corner of our community. But we can't let it take us. We must come together, there is power in unity." Kofi stepped beside her, his presence invigorating as he spoke passionately. "We discovered something tonight, something vital. To find Adeola and banish the shadows, we must reconnect with our stories, our culture. The bond between us is our strength." An elder woman, the one who had been sharing stories before, raised her hand. "How will that help us? We've told stories, prayed, but the children still vanish." Nana felt the weight of their disbelief surging like a tide. "What if our stories aren't enough on their own?" she countered, her voice earnest. "What if, mixed with our bond, we create something unbreakable? A foundation unshakable against fear?" She took a deep breath and continued. "We need to weave a tapestry of our histories, a mural of our past, present, and hopes. As we paint it, we'll recount the tales of our ancestors, the rituals that have long been forgotten, and the strength that dwells within our roots." She glanced at Kofi, who nodded in agreement, excitement sparking in his eyes. "Together, we will not only honor our history but ignite the fire of hope within every heart. Adeola will know she is not alone, and will show the shadows that we are many, not easily extinguished." "Let's do it," came a voice from the back, and the crowd began to murmur a chorus of agreement. The atmosphere slowly shifted, fear receding as the flicker of hope ignited among them. Nana felt a waving tide of energy spreading through the room, empowering her. "We'll divide into groups," she announced. "Let some of us gather the children, while others can begin to plan what stories we will include. Kofi and I will start the mural, we'll guide our vision, and we need your help. Let's put a call out, invite everyone." Kofi added, his enthusiasm contagious. "We need more hands. The more we invite, the more voices we'll have. Our stories will echo through Accra." Children began to cheer, their innocence and enthusiasm cutting through the lingering heaviness. With renewed spirit, volunteers rushed into action, reforming the group into a tapestry of possibility. Parents began reaching out to neighbors, canvassing the community for more artists, storytellers, and those willing to join in this revival. Nana felt exhilaration building as she watched her community respond. The energy shifted from restless despair to palpable excitement, pushing away the darkness that threatened to encroach again. Paint was procured from nearby vendors, canvases stretched across makeshift easels, and colorful decorations sprang up as the space transformed. "Gather around," Kofi called, drawing in a group of children. "We'll start with the stories, the history we once lost. What do you remember about your family, your culture?" With voices turned from gloom to anticipation, children began recounting tales from their homes. Stories rich with the accomplishments, struggles, and triumphs of their ancestors. Each thread woven into the gathering tapestry added bright hues, representing their shared legacy. As hours passed, laughter began to fill the room, replacing silence. Each moment of storytelling igniting enthusiasm and excitement. Nana, meanwhile, assisted Kofi in painting, guiding youthful hands as they began brushing colors onto the mural. What started as panic morphed into artistry, the colors blending together, telling the narrative of resilience and strength. "Look, we're painting the sun rising over the market," one young girl declared, touching vibrant orange and yellow hues onto the canvas. "It shows that hope will always come after darkness." Nana smiled, savoring the metaphor that resonated through their artistic endeavors. Stories were the light, providing them their strength. "And we'll paint the roots of our ancestors below," Kofi added, gesturing to the mural's base. "To grasp our foundations and ensure they are honored." The group erupted in creativity, pouring their minds into the visuals and stories, realizing the power that lay within them. As the sun began to set, casting golden rays through the windows, cheers erupted when the mural revealed a stunning picture. a timeline of their heritage painted in bold strokes that captured their essence. But as hope flourished, something darker awakened at the edges of the impending celebration. In a fleeting moment's glance, Nana spotted movement, the flicker of red in the corner of her eye, like a feral spark against the radiant glow. Kofi noticed too, but anxiety tightened his grip. "Did you see that?" Nana nodded slowly, her heart thrumming in anticipation. "We cannot lose our focus. We're on the precipice of reclaiming our light. We will not let shadows overpower us." An urgent reminder drew closer, echoing within her. Somewhere beyond the veil of fear, Adeola waited. Whoever held her hostage needed to face the light, and they were ready to shine brighter than ever. Rekindling the Flame. As night descended over Accra, the community center glowed like a beacon against the darkness, a stark contrast to the shadows lurking outside. The mural, now a vivid tapestry brimming with life, served as an anchor, an ironclad reminder of their unity in reclaiming hope. Children giggled and danced around the paintings, intertwining their stories with laughter, while adults shared childhood tales, reminiscing and reigniting bonds long faded. Nana stood back, heart swelling with pride as she surveyed the work. The mural melded together elegant depictions of their cultural roots, weaving tales of champions, ancestral spirits, and collective triumphs. With every brushstroke, the tension from earlier began to ebb away, replaced by a honeyed warmth that sweetened the air. Kofi dipped his brush into water, glancing at Nana. "It feels like we're breathing life back into the community. We've shifted the atmosphere." His enthusiasm was infectious as paint splattered onto his shirt. She chuckled lightly, the weight of fear barely a whisper now. "It's amazing what comes alive when we share our energy and stories." Just then, an elder approached them, her eyes glimmering with appreciation. "I could not have imagined this. You both have sparked a fire in our community. We'll embrace who we are, our heritage, and grow stronger." Nana felt a fire igniting within her. "We need to celebrate this spirit, tonight. Let's gather around the mural, share more stories, dance, and embrace who we are." The idea spread through the crowd like wildfire, turning the center into a scene of celebration. They set up makeshift seating, old chairs adorned with festive fabrics, and lit candles around the mural. Laughter and chatter bubbled over as mothers began preparing local delicacies to share. A feast of jollof, plantains, and light soup wafting through the air, immediately raising spirits. Kofi drummed on an empty container, calling once again to the children. "Gather around, everyone. Let's dance." He broke into a rhythm that echoed through the building, inviting even the shyest participants to step up and join him. Nana joined in, spinning into the music, her heart racing with joy. It felt as if the very spirits of their ancestors danced along with them, a celebration of life that connected them past and present. The smiling faces of the children, their laughter blending with the beats struck deep chords within her. Yet, even amid revelry, Nana couldn't ignore a nagging sensation at the back of her mind. She glanced at the doorway, where shadows twisted just beyond the light. The thrill of the gathering was powerful, invigorating, yet the feeling of something waiting, watchful, unsettled her. Taking a moment, she stepped outside, away from the warmth of laughter and into the drifting night air, desperate to grasp the missing threads of clarity. It felt colder outside, a stark contrast to the joyful atmosphere within. As she walked toward the market's edge, whispers floated through the stillness, an echo of fragmented words that sent chills through her spine. "They're watching, they need to follow. The sacrifice." Nana turned sharply, instinctively calling out, "Who's there?" Her voice reverberated off the walls, but the darkness only answered with silence. To her relief, Kofi appeared behind her. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, concern weaving into his tone as he joined her. "You look troubled. There's something stirring in the shadows." "I felt it before," she admitted, her breath catching in her throat. "It was as if they were pulling the very essence from us, threatening what we built." Kofi's features hardened. "They won't take our spirit. We have to keep this space lit, alive with our heritage. They cannot hold Adeola any longer. She must know we're here fighting for her." As they re-entered the center, a hush fell over the gathering, startled by the sudden change of atmosphere. The elders waited, knowing Nana had felt something too. Kofi stepped forward, brimming with determination. "Friends, this night is about us, our joy, our stories, but we cannot forget our purpose. To honor the ones missing, we must keep our spirits ignited. The crowd nodded, the laughter morphing into murmurs of solidarity. Guided by Kofi's fervor, they formed a circle around the mural, holding hands beneath the flickering candlelight. I want everyone to share one thing, one story, memory, or hope for a future where we stand strong together, he encouraged, looking at the diverse faces surrounding him. The first elder spoke, her voice trembling but strong, recanting tales of love, warmth, and sacrifices made by those who had come before them. The stories flooded out, reverberating through the night air, at once joyous and sorrowful, drawing on the pulse of their unity. As they shared memories, Nana found strength rising within her. Each tale reignited the flames of resilience that tied them together as a community. Shadows flickered at the edges of the room, but the light fought back fiercely, illuminating the roots of their history. Each memory a powerful thread in the tapestry they were weaving together. Laughter returned as children began to dance, shadows chasing laughter, eager to grasp the joy that defied them. The pounding rhythm of drums filled the room, interwoven with the sounds of stories cascading through the group. Then, everything shifted. A gust of cold wind howled through the open windows, and the candles flickered violently. Gasps swept through, and Nana felt the air vibrate with an energy that felt both ominous and hopeful. "We will not fear you," she cried out boldly, her voice ringing with conviction, challenging whatever lingered in the darkness. The vibrations responded, shifting between the known and unknown, as the laughter mixed with apprehension. But the circle held firm, hearts united against the tide of despair, the threads of hope and strength playing through them, shimmering defiantly. The time would come when they would confront the shadows head-on, reclaim Adeola, and face the darkness that had threatened too long. With renewed vigor, they danced, weaving stories, crafting bonds, and warding away the chilling grip of night. Echoes of the past. The dance continued, feet pounding rhythm against the hard floor as laughter wrapped around the sounds of tradition. The foyer of the community center pulsed with life, a vibrant tapestry woven not just from colors on the mural but from the living stories of the people within. Kofi drummed with passion, and the children followed suit, filling the room with joyous chatter. But amidst the jubilation, a sense of urgency hovered like dark clouds threatening storm. Adeola remained missing, and with every story shared, Nana felt the pull of history reasserting itself, a tether to the past that might guide them toward finding the child. As the evening rolled on, Nana decided it was time to dig deeper into their connections with their ancestors. "Everyone," she called, lifting her hand to draw their attention. "Tonight, we honor not only our joy but also our history. I believe our ancestors still bear witness to our struggles. They have left stories for us to find." Elder voices murmured in agreement, their experiences heavy with wisdom. A respected elder named Oba stepped forward, his voice deep and resonating as he spoke. "We must remember the rituals. They tie us to our ancestors and lay bare our path. We once honored them with songs, foods, and celebrations." Nana's heart quickened. What rituals can we remember? How can we honor them tonight to reclaim our light? Oba's eyes sparkled with knowledge. "We can share a meal. Food symbolizes unity and connection. To remember them is to invite their spirits to join us among the living. Let's cook as a community," Kofi exclaimed, excitement rippling through the crowd. "We can prepare traditional dishes and share them in a communal feast to welcome our ancestors' spirits." A wave of enthusiasm surged through the group. The aroma of spices and laughter filled the center as families hurried to their homes to gather ingredients needed for the feast. Children eagerly grabbed pots and pans, ready to help. Families filled the center with delightful chatter as everyone busily collaborated to create the feast. As Nana worked alongside Kofi, slicing plantains and stirring pots of jollof rice, the surroundings felt sacred. The very act of cooking together transformed their scattered energies into a dense warmth, enveloping them in a powerful embrace of shared purpose. "Food has so much power," she remarked, her voice blending with the rhythmic clanging of pots. "It reaches beyond hunger, it rekindles our spirit, connecting us with the past and future alike. Each meal is a chance to remember and honor, to bring our ancestors' strength back." Kofi nodded, a sprinkle of flour dusting his cheek. "It's like building our legacy, layer by layer, dish by dish. As we cook, we solidify our connection. With every stirring of a pot and slicing of vegetables, children began sharing tales of their families. Through laughter, secrets spilled out like the richness of the food they were preparing. An 8-year-old named Akojua proudly recounted, "My grandmother used to tell me stories of a river that danced beneath the moonlight, where our ancestors would gather to solve their problems and celebrate together." "That river still exists," Nana pointed out, her mind racing with imagery. "Its spirit lives through us. We've lost touch with many stories, but they still resonate in our hearts. They echo through our memories." As the night unfolded, elders started sharing rituals that honored their ancestry. They crafted offerings of fruits and flowers to be placed on an altar made from a corner table, dedicating it to the spirits they wished to invite. "One must call out to them with gratitude," Oba instructed, guiding them. "For our voices are the bridges stretching to the past." As the meal came together, a profound sense filled Nana. The circle she and Kofi had formed had become a protective shield imbued with love, history, and purpose. Yet, a lingering shadow tickled her thoughts. Would their efforts truly be enough to reach Adeola? With the ambience warm and lively, a shift arose, and Kofi gestured for attention. "Let us prepare to reveal our feast. We'll invite our ancestors to join us in spirit. Each person must share a memory of love or strength as we feast." The gathering began to organize around the altar, where fruits glimmered in the soft light, bathed in hues of orange and red. Tension gradually dissipated as they joined hands again, forming a circle, the warmth of each clasp echoing a collective heartbeat. Nana took a deep breath, gathering her courage, knowing the moment held power, both fragile and fierce, inviting history to bless their gathering. "Tonight, as we share our food, we honor our roots and invite our spirits to join this gathering. Please, share your memories." One after another, tales spilled forth like blessings from their past. Each recollection ignited flames. The room felt pregnant with stories igniting hope and memories, evoking ancestors joining them. As they wrapped their stories into the rising steam of food, a sudden chill swept through the room, the flickering candles wobbling violently. Silence ensued, tension creeping back into the air. Kofi steadied himself, and a flicker of doubt crossed his features. "There's a presence." Nana's breath hitched. The energy shifted, vibrating with anticipation, as if something awaited the culmination of their gathering, a response from the fabric of their histories. Instinctively, she raised her voice above the whispers. "We acknowledge you, the strength of our ancestors and the light of our spirits. We feast together, inviting you to stand with us as we fight for what is ours." Words echoed in their midst, breaking through the uneasy silence, firing up their hearts once more. The moment wavered, unsteady, lost in shadows, but the power of history surged through them as they clutched hands, fear and hope entwining together. Tonight would mark either a culmination or a foundation. They call upon the light to retrieve the shadows, and though uncertainty loomed, the threads of their unity glimmered brighter than ever. Fires of confrontation. The air crackled with a strange energy that night, the festive atmosphere hanging heavy with anticipation. Candles flickered madly, shadows dancing ominously as the spirits they had invited stirred, hovering just at the edge of reality. Nana's heart pounded in her chest. Fear wrestled with the growing certainty that tonight would demand courage beyond what they had summoned so far. Kofi broke the heavy silence, his voice low yet resolute. "Remember why we're here. We stand not just for ourselves but for those who have fought and sacrificed for our existence." His words grounded them, the relentless flicker of life shining within. "This is our moment to reclaim what's been claimed from us." Nana gripped his hand tightly, drawing strength from his unwavering resolve. Together they turned back to the group, the circle forming tighter as they prepared to continue their communal ritual. The scent of jollof rice and spicy kelaweel wafted through the room, mingling with the tension-filled air. One of the elders, Auntie Esi, spoke up. "We honor our past through sharing. Each bite we take is an invitation for our ancestors to return. Remember, their wisdom is within you." Her voice trembled, but there was a spark, a determination that ignited the crowd once more. As they began to serve the meal, laughter cascaded with each dish passed along. Each offering was a testament of love and a reminder of the ties that bound them. Yet, just as their spirits lifted, a sharp gust of wind burst through the open window, extinguishing several candles and plunging them back into shadows. "Stay together." Kofi shouted, grabbing hold of the nearest child, a look of fierce determination fueling him. Nana felt the pulse of uncertainty return, but she fought to anchor herself, recalling the stories they had shared. They had come this far with their resilience and unity, they could not waver now. As members of the community whispered nervous comments, Nana rallied herself, stepping forward to address her friends. We cannot allow fear to break our spirit. Remember, we are a tapestry woven from the stories shared tonight. Together, we are stronger than the darkness. Nana's voice held power, resonating in the shared spirit of the group. They began chanting in unison, a defiant echo reverberating through the room. Their voices called for strength, for unity, for the safe return of Adeola. Then, as if to counter their resolve, the shadows surged in from the corners, and figures began shifting within them, a sudden rustling sound piercing the atmosphere. Whispers echoed again, echoing familiar themes of loss and sorrow. You dare to summon us? A voice slithered through the darkness, chilling their spines. The figure they had seen before materialized again, donned in shades of red, its form shifting and adapting, blurring the line between spirit and shadow. Who are you? Kofi demanded, voice steady, but underlined with a low tremor. I am the one who walks between, she said, her voice a haunting melody as though calling from deep within the well of shadows. And you, children of this land, summon trouble. The child you seek is under my care, a sacrifice for those who have forgotten their roots. A tremor shot through the group, fear threatening to drown them. But Nana stepped forward, refusing to cower. No. We are here to reclaim our legacy. You will not take her from us. We remember who we are. We have gathered our stories and our strength. The figure swirled, the red of her dress billowing like smoke intermingling with shadows. And what good are those stories when suffocated by fear? The very fabric of your tales can be unraveled, and you will see that darkness is not easily dismissed. Kofi flexed his fists, determination radiating from him. You think you can break us? Our stories tie us together. They are more than words, they are our connections, our identities. We will not sacrifice anything ever again. As he spoke, the bulk of the shadows began to writhe, flickering between ire and desperation. You hold on to those fears, yet you would risk losing the child you love to fight against something far older than your grief, the voice retorted, wrapping around them like a thorny vine. Yet, amid the swirling darkness, Nana felt a push of warmth rise from the core of their gathering. That is not true, she shouted, refusing to relent. Love cannot be extorted through fear. We pace this earth because we hold each other close. We share our legacies. We have come together to fight not just for Adeola, but for ourselves. Another rush of wind roared through the room as the candle flames flickered, but they held their ground, every heartbeat echoing the strength they had built together. A pulse of unity echoed through the circle, a force of brightness pushing back against the shadows. What you take from us, we reclaim tenfold. Kofi bellowed, his voice amplified by the fierce determination of the crowd. A sudden quiet fell over the center, the swirling shadows faltering in response. It was as though time suspended, as the power of their bond pressed against the darkness, clawing toward the light. The wind lessened, allowing the flickering candles to regain their strength, illuminating every face. Your fears cannot feed us any longer, Nana concluded, her voice swelling with conviction. We are a celebration of life, and we will not falter in our pursuit. The shadow of the figure screamed, a writhing form twisting against the surge of light. You will regret this resolve, it called out, frustration wrapping its words in menace before it dissipated into the night air, leaving the hum of tension slowly yielding. Nana's heart raced, adrenaline coursing through her veins. They had faced down the shadows, reclaiming their strength, but Adeola remained out there somewhere. The challenge still lay ahead. We will find her, she declared, her voice piercing through the lingering unease. The stories have begun, and tonight we prove that love and unity conquer all. Tomorrow we search until her laughter graces our community again. Cheering erupted, lifting the weight of uncertainty and weaving it instead into a thread of hope that pulsed through the gathering. Together, they forged a promise, one neither shadow nor burden could fracture. The path revealed. The first light of dawn crept into Accra, casting a soft glow through the community center's windows. Young voices were already stirring, eager to seize the morning after an unexpected victory against the darkness. Nana felt a strange comfort in the early sun, an assurance that they were not alone in their fight. Kofi shook his head, ruffling his tousled curls, his eyes still glazed with lingering sleep. Did we really stand against a spirit last night? It's not just any spirit, Nana replied thoughtfully, recalling the swirling figure from the night before. This one has a history tied to our community, to our unheeded stories. Whatever it is, we need to understand it better if we're going to bring Adeola back. As the children and elders trickled in, the room filled with a calm camaraderie. The excitement from the previous night lingered like an electric current, and with each passing moment, their decision to face the shadows together solidified. Nana turned to the gathered community, her heart swelling with pride. Today, we seek a path. We have our histories and stories, but we must learn what they mean together. We need insight, guidance from our elders on the rituals and folklore that may lead us to Adeola. An elder approached, Auntie Esi nodding understandingly. If we are to illuminate our way, we should delve deeper into the tales passed down to us. The solutions lie in understanding the past. There is a place where the stories are strongest, a sacred grove just beyond the market. An intrigued murmur passed through the crowd as Auntie Esi continued. It is said that a spirit resides there, a keeper of wisdom. We can ask for guidance, and perhaps this spirit may offer clues to reclaim that which is lost. Kofi refocused his energy. Let's do this. Let's go to the grove and seek the spirit. We haven't been led astray yet. We're stronger in numbers against whatever shadow lies ahead. Excitement rippled through the gathering as they gathered supplies and food for the journey. A blend of jollof rice, fried plantains, and fruits honoring their shared resilience. The energy buzzed, a fire igniting as they set off toward the sacred grove, determination lighting their way. As they approached the edge of the market, the bustling streets fell silent, replaced with a tranquil ambience that enveloped them. The grove stood ahead, ancient trees forming a protective embrace around a faraway spirit of life. Nana stepped into the grove cautiously, the air shifting as if every breath carried history. "Does anyone feel that?" she whispered, glancing around at the moss-covered trunks basking in soft sunlight. "Like we're walking on sacred ground," Kofi replied, entranced by the beauty of it all. "This place holds stories. I can feel them." They continued deeper into the grove, the canopy above filtering sunlight like rays of hope. The leaves rustled softly in the wind, whispering secrets only to be heard by those who listened closely. Suddenly, a glow appeared up ahead, emanating from a clearing nestled between the large trees. Curious, the crowd ventured toward it, and as they entered the glade, they were met with an ethereal sight. A vibrant flower garden erupted from the earth, illuminated by ribbons of sunlight. In the center stood an ancient stone, engravings etched into its surface. Kofi knelt next to the stone, tracing his fingers along its patterns. "This must be the marker of the spirit. It dates back for generations." Auntie Esi stepped forward, reverence in her every movement. "Here, we can leave offerings and ask for guidance." She motioned for everyone to gather, a sense of peace quieting the group as they settled around the stone. Nana placed their offerings on the altar, the dishes thoughtfully prepared that morning. "We come seeking wisdom and clarity, to find Adeola," she called out, her voice carrying through the grove, echoing among the trees. "Guide us to the truth hidden within the shadows." Kofi joined her, encouraged by the crowd's energy. "We honor our ancestors, the stories now bringing us strength. We seek answers not just for ourselves but for our community." He held his breath, the atmosphere thickening with anticipation. They waited, the air seemingly tightening around them, the fragrance of the flowers weaving with the spirit of the grove. Each moment felt electric, full of possibility. Then, mirroring the wind that danced among the leaves, a sparkling essence began to swirl around the stone, forming an apparition. A spirit with features illuminated by moonlight. Its presence radiated wisdom, the light soft yet commanding. "Children of the tangled roots, why do you summon me?" The spirit's voice resonated, gentle whispers captivating the air. Nana stepped forward, emboldened. "We seek the truth of our shadows. A child has been taken, our community yearns for her safety. Please, can you guide us?" The spirit rippled with knowledge. "You honor me with your offerings, yet you must understand, the shadows are steeped in a twisted bond of fear. They dwell where love faltered and histories remained hidden. To reclaim what is yours, you must bridge the stories of the past with the whispers of the present. Kofi's heart raced, clarity washing over him. How do we dispel the shadows? How do we find Adeola? Call upon your collective strength, the spirit implored, ethereal winds swirling. Unravel the threads of your legacies, share your fire. Your laughter is the beacon that beckons her home. Nana felt her heart swell, each word weaving into her being. Then we must share our stories even louder, down to the very roots of who we are. We will remind ourselves of love and family, weaving those threads into one tapestry of unity. The spirit nodded, a gentle smile gracing its celestial visage. You have grasped the path. Your strength lies in embracing both shadows and light. Return as one, and you will hold enough power to summon her home. With its final words, the spirit began to fade, leaving a shimmering dust behind, filling the grove with an ethereal glow. A sense of purpose surged through the gathered crowd. They shared experiences amidst root systems that ran confined beneath the surface. Kofi turned to Nana, his eyes radiating determination. We'll return to the center, and we will share everything. Our hopes, our fears, and our stories until the very fabric of Accra remembers what it is to stand together. Nana nodded, her heart alight with a renewed flame as they journeyed back, knowing the true fight for Adeola had only just begun. The power of unity. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the community center as Nana and Kofi returned from the sacred grove. They were filled with determination, and the spirit's message drove them onward. The group gathered around the mural as they walked into the center, greeted by familiar faces. The atmosphere shifted, vibrating with palpable excitement. Kofi took center stage, his voice ringing with vigor. We have just spoken with the spirit of the grove. It revealed that our strength lies in our stories, the tales of our ancestors and all we share as a community. If we are to find Adeola, we need to amplify our voices. We must unite as one. As the children crowded close, their faces lit with curiosity and anticipation, Nana stepped up beside him. Each of us has a history worth telling. It binds us together and strengthens our resolve. We need to share these stories with everyone. Something that will not only honor our past but also bring Adeola back to us. The crowd buzzed with energy as Kofi encouraged each person to contribute their thoughts, memories, and hopes. The gathering transformed, the community responding to their urgent call. They pulled up chairs and gathered in clusters, sharing details of family legacies and ancestral tales. I remember my grandmother's story about the great river Phoenix, one young boy exclaimed, enthusiasm bubbling forth. It told how the phoenix would rise from the ashes to protect her people. She would sing until dawn, calling the spirits to join her. That story reminds us that we too can rise. Nana responded, her excitement palpable. She could see hope igniting in their eyes. An older woman who had been listening stepped forward. As a child, I was told about the Festival of Light, where we would light lanterns as a beacon for lost souls, guiding them home. Then let's relive that tradition. Kofi said, his mind racing. Let's prepare lanterns and light them at dusk to show our love for Adeola and all that we have lost. We'll fill the sky with our wishes, creating a path for our spirits to follow. The room erupted with applause and cheers, excitement energizing the air. Children dashed off to gather materials for crafting lanterns, while elders shared their own stories of love and strength. As the sun set, transforming the sky into a canvas of purples and oranges, the group joined together in different corners of the center, weaving their stories into the lanterns they created. Each lantern bore a name, a tale, and a hope, the essence of their collective spirit taken form. Nana felt her heart swell as she painted Adeola's name onto a lantern, decorated with symbols of protection and love. With each brushstroke, she poured her hopes into it, feeling as though she could reach across the void to the little girl. Let's make this our united statement, Kofi called out, inspiring further fervor in the crowd. Every aspect of the lantern should symbolize our fight: love, unity, courage, family. When the last lantern was complete, a collective hush fell over the gathering. The flickering candles inside cast golden hues against their faces, illuminating their expressions. Hope and determination mingled, reflecting the spirit of their promise to each other and to Adeola. As dusk settled in, Nana stood before the crowd, her heart racing with pride and purpose. "Tonight, we will light our lanterns and offer our voices to the night. We will send them out as a signal of strength, a reminder that we are whole because we share, both in joy and in sorrow." With patient hands, the lanterns were carefully lit, the glow warm and inviting amidst the encroaching darkness. Together, they stepped outside, and Kofi led the group toward the open field outside the community center, where they would release their hopes into the night sky. "On my count," Kofi said, excitement bubbling within him. 1, 2, 3. With a surge of energy, they released the lanterns into the air, each candle alight with purpose, floating upward like whispers against the canvas of twilight. The lanterns glided higher, illuminating the darkening sky as if inviting stars closer. "Look how beautiful they are," a child exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder, captivated by the spectacle of light. Nana watched as the lanterns ascended, connecting to the vastness of the night. "We are more than hope, we are love, family and culture. We rise together," she cried, lifting her voice as the cool breeze embraced the gathering. As the lanterns floated toward the heavens, the crowd began to chant in unison, recalling old songs, the rhythms echoing tales of their ancestors through the darkness. The chant became a crescendo of strength and hope, forging a bond that tethered each of their stories onto the very fabric of the night. Yet, in that moment of unity, a faint chill swept through the air, tinged with the disquiet of something yet unresolved. Nana could feel the weight of the shadows that still loomed. They were standing strong, yes, but the true battle had yet to begin. As the last lantern disappeared into the night sky, illuminating the darkness with flickering hopes, she turned to Kofi, determination igniting within her again. "We will find her, Kofi. This is just the beginning." Kofi nodded, resolve shining in his eyes. "Together, we'll chase the shadows back into the night." With hearts woven in unity, they knew the time would soon come when they would confront the darkness head-on. But for tonight, they had ignited a flame, a guiding light to lead them home. The Final Confrontation. The night lay still, broken only by the whispers of the wind and the flickering light of the last lanterns, now disappearing into the deep abyss of stars. The collective hope from their shared stories and sacrifices hung like a beacon in the air. Yet, with every moment that passed, the shadows seemed to grow heavier, coiling beneath a veil of uncertainty as the radiant lights dwindled. As dawn approached, Nana gathered the community once more at the center, the lingering effects of their lantern vigil still flickering within her heart. Determination emanated from everyone, but she could feel the urgency rising and the quiet ache of anticipation. "We have come so far, and we now know what we are up against," Nana declared, rising to her full height. "Tonight, we stand not just as individuals but as a united front. We seek to reclaim Adeola and confront the darkness that has threatened our community for too long." Kofi stepped beside her, his brow set with resolve. "We know the shadows are restless. The stories we carry within us can provide the strength needed to face this challenge. They will guide us in our search for Adeola." A chorus of agreement echoed through the crowd, a tangible energy pulsating among them. "We will honor her and every child snatched by fear," one older woman declared. A ripple of determination surged through the gathering, reinforcing their unified spirit. "We will split into groups," Nana suggested, a plan quickening her thoughts. "Kofi and I will lead one team to retrace our steps at the market, where the shadows were thickest last night. We'll search for any signs of where Adeola may be." The crowd began to organize around Nana's words, cultivating plans and setting intentions. Children clustered under their parents' watchful eyes, sharing stories they remembered about the market, a shared narrative both protective and powerful. With Kofi beside her, Nana felt a fierce energy unraveling within her. They stepped outside, the fresh dawn air invigorating them as they traversed the once familiar streets, now cloaked in uncertainty. The sun clawed its way above the horizon, casting rays of light to push back the lingering night. As they entered the marketplace, the vibrant buzz of morning mingled with a palpable tension that hung like fog. The streets had been alive just a day before, but today felt eerily quiet, a solemn reminder of the missing. "Over there!" A child interrupted the silence, pointing toward a corner where shadows seemed deeper, pooling beneath a tree. Instinctively, the group moved in closer, the tension palpable. Kofi approached first, his hand steadying an older woman near him. "Remember to stay together," he reminded everyone, scanning the surroundings. Unity is our strongest weapon. As they neared the shadow, the air thickened. The laughter of children faded into the background, replaced with the faint echo of whispers, words unrecognizable yet painfully palpable. "Do you hear them?" one elder asked, dread creeping into their voice. "Yes," Nana replied softly, shivering slightly, the shadows around them shifting almost as if agitated. "It feels as if they're calling." But then, in a flash of movement, the figure emerged again, the silhouette cloaked in red, exuding a presence that demanded attention. "You return, children of the light," the figure boomed, its voice low and haunting, swirling around them like a tempest. "Have you come to offer another sacrifice?" Kofi stepped forward, indignant. "We don't fear you. You won't take anyone else. We have come to reclaim Adeola and to bring her home." All around them, the shadows began to stir, writhing and undulating in response to their defiance. "Your voices are weak, and your histories unassembled. You think you can dismantle what is already festering in fear. Fear only binds us while hope binds our strength." Nana shouted, heart hammering in her chest. In that moment, she felt the warmth radiate through every story shared, every connection forged, the bond of the community wrapped around her like a protective cloak. "Listen," she commanded, and the group shifted to form a cohesive unit, surrounding Kofi and her. "We stand together not just in fear, but in love, hope, and unity. We summon the stories of our ancestors." As they recited the stories of their families and the tales that had been passed down, lighting the path ahead, the spirit's form flickered, and shadows began to dissipate under the incandescent warmth of their words. "Your spirits are fragile, the link to your history's weak," the figure spat, but its voice trembled now, the shadows visibly shrinking with every shouted word. "Your dominion here ends now," Kofi roared, his voice commanding the very air around them. "We don't bow to fear, for we are more than shadows. Our legacy reigns brightly." In that collective moment of courage, the group chanted the names of missing children, their voices rising to a fever pitch as whispers tangled in the air. They pushed forth, stories spinning into an exquisite tapestry of life around them, a glowing shield to embolden them. The shadows erupted and howled, struggling as the light surged forward, breaking through the darkness like a flaming torch. Nana felt something shift within her, a tremendous rush of warmth as the shadows twisted and wrenched, revealing a faint outline beyond them. "Adeola," she cried out, spotting the small form, huddled and frightened but alive. With the combined resolve of the group, they surged forward, purpose guiding them through the fray. The dark figure writhed, a helpless expression appearing as they closed in. "No, you can't take her. She belongs to the darkness." "No," Nana shouted, throwing her arms wide to embrace Adeola as she rushed forward. "She belongs to us. You will not take her again." Together, they enveloped the girl, who burst into tears of relief and joy as the shadows screeched in betrayal, shrinking backward. You have no power here," Kofi shouted defiantly, watching as the spirit's form flickered and began to dissolve, panic creeping into its spectral features. A final surge of light pooled around them, igniting the street with a warm glow as the shadows dissipated into nothingness. Together, they had confronted the darkness, and with it, they stole back the light. As the sun broke free from the horizon, illuminating the market, Nana cradled Adeola close, tears of joy spilling forth as she whispered, "You're home. We've got you." The community roared with triumph, laughter swelling as they embraced one another. They had faced their fears and risen together as one, a tapestry brilliantly woven from stories, histories, and love, a community reborn. Nana looked up at Kofi, pride swelling in her heart, knowing they had only just begun to renew the connection to their past and embrace the future yet unwritten. "Let's celebrate," Kofi said, grinning widely. "Together. As a family." As the melodies of joy filled the air, Nana felt a deep sense of contentment. They had fought through darkness, but with light and love, they were ready to continue weaving their beautiful tapestry of life, forever intertwined.